Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Ben Olson. That's Nathan Fox. We're the founders of LSATdemon.com and our weekly podcast, Thinking LSAT. We have an email here from someone who has worked on the Hill.
Okay. Hi, Ben and Nathan. I hope y'all are doing well! Exclamation point. I've begun brainstorming ideas that I could discuss in my personal statement. I'm a K through JD, and I don't have any extensive long-term professional experience, but I have worked in several internships that could be great to discuss, including working for a mayoral campaign, state legislature, U.S. House of Representatives, U.S. Senate, state attorneys general's office, boutique lobbying firm, a big law firm in their lobbying practice, and the U.S. Department of State.
Wow. Okay.
As a K through JD,
Wow.
it's almost like a red flag because it's so many things.
Yeah. How did you score
It
so
just
many
seems
internships?
impossible.
Were they short?
I guess if you started in high school, you know, or I don't know, you did a different thing every semester. That's a lot of things. You do have to pick one, right? I mean, like whatever you think is the most prestigious one, I would talk about that probably. Or wherever you thought you kicked the most ass, I would talk about that.
And ideally more recent than like high school. So
yeah. Yep.
Okay.
You know, or the one that's tied most closely to some area of legal practice that you think you legitimately want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, one idea was to focus on one or two experiences that I enjoyed the most and had the greatest impact on me. I like that a lot. While another idea was to discuss how I, quote, climbed the ladder and worked my way up from local government positions to federal agencies and top firms. Or just talk about being in the top firm. Like, who cares how you got there? I care more about what you did while you were there, I think. I don't know.
Sure. The fact that you got there and that you did something worthwhile. Yeah.
However, a third, more controversial idea I had, we could probably just strike that right there. Like, you think it's controversial? Don't do it. Don't give your, like, I really believe, Ben, that they read personal statements mostly as a, like, okay, let's just check to make sure we really want this person and it's not going to cause us problems. I don't think they're reading personal statements going, yeah, this person is on the, I'm not really sure, but maybe if they really blow us away in their personal statement, we'll let them in.
Yeah.
I mean, at least I would say that that's happening 1 out of 10 times for every, for every 10 times they read something and they're like, oh, whoops, dodged a bullet here, you guys.
Yeah.
Wait list. That happens a lot, like a lot. And so the second someone says, oh, let me tell you my controversial idea, I'm like, I don't know about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, but let's hear it.
Okay.
A third, more controversial idea was to discuss a pattern that persisted throughout all my experiences. Beginning in the mayoral campaign, the candidate was involved in various dirty political battles. And then they apparently linked to a news article about it, which we don't have here. Second, the senator I worked for was Bob Menendez, who was sentenced to 11 years in prison for his bribery charges just a few days ago. Finally, working in powerful lobbying firms opened my eyes to the outsized impact of money in politics and federal legislation. In my personal statement, I would discuss how, together, these experiences have shown me the importance of the law being entrusted to individuals who uphold integrity and fueled my appreciation for the role that lawyers play in maintaining accountability within our political system.
Okay. So you're talking about your mental state. You're talking about what you learned from these experiences. I think it's much better to just talk about how you succeeded.
Yeah, putting the controversy issue aside, waxing philosophical about what you've learned.
And how the system should work coming from an intern.
Well, this is a K through JD, right? So this is like from a college kid.
Yeah.
It's like from the desk of,
someone's person on the hill. Yeah.
From the desk of a just started my senior year of college. Here, I would like to now expound to you on the importance of lawyers. Like, and you're
The
writing to
importance of
nothing but
integrity. Yeah.
people who already have JDs and people who are looking around their school going like, what we actually do
Yeah.
is we take a bunch of future wannabe do-gooders and we try to funnel them into big law firms. That's what we do. That's like literally what we do, is we try to get people to get big law jobs, because that's how we're evaluated. Like, the prestige of our school is directly related to how many people we send into big law, which represents the Bob Menendezes of the world. Anyway.
Unsuccessfully, apparently.
Yeah. On the Hill continues and says, in my opinion, I find the first two options more safe, but I certainly think the third idea has the potential to be the most unique and representative of my outlook. However, I have to admit, discussing my employment under Senator Bob Menendez isn't the biggest flex either. Thank you guys for all your advice and everything you do. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Let's talk about the word outlook. The personal statement is not a place to expound on your outlook. It's to show why you have skills through detailing experiences that you've done.
Yeah. 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 They're not going to read your outlook and be like, oh, wow, we really want someone at our school with that philosophy.
Yeah.
Boy, wow, I never thought about that. I mean, that's just amazing. Boy, it's so important that law is entrusted to individuals who uphold integrity. They're like, they don't give a shit about that. You're 21 years old. They want to know whether you're going to be a successful attorney later.
Law student and then attorney. Yep.
They don't need you lecturing them on the glory of the law or your philosophies of integrity or personal responsibility or anything else. They want, like, all you're trying to do is give them FOMO.
Mm-hmm.
And FOMO of what? FOMO that you're going to go to a competing law school and end up with some big law job or
Are you gonna
a federal
go to
clerkship.
Yeah. Are you going to go to a competing law school and do really well there? And then get picked up by employers?
Goose the bar passage and employment stats of competing law school. That's what they care about.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, do you look like someone who's going to pass the bar? Do you look like someone who's going to get a job immediately? Do you look like somebody who is going to practice big law or federal clerkship or something else super prestigious? And based on your employment track record, I think you can certainly talk about, I would write about, boy, I don't know. What do you think? I guess we'd have to see the resume. We'd have to read some of your read some of your anecdotes that you have from the jobs that you actually did.
Yeah, I would probably pick the best experience of your two most recent experiences. I'm concerned that if you go any older than that, the question is like, okay, well, what's happened since then? I see on your resume you worked at the U.S. Department of State. Why aren't you talking about that? It's fine if you don't talk about the most recent experience, but the second most recent experience, and one of those two seems like a top contender.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the fact that you have worked in lobbying firms, the fact that you've worked in big law, the fact that you've gone from like the government offices to lobbying and potentially back to the government offices, like that looks really, really good. That looks really employable. That like you know the game. You understand how the whole shit works.
Yeah.
But you don't need to be like lecturing them about ethics. Instead, just portray yourself as a good worker bee. You've been successful. You've loved it. You've been successful at every step. You don't have to like talk about Bob. You do not have to bring up your time at Bob Menendez. In fact, I would just probably not even mention that. Just, we're talking about the positives. We don't need to talk about the negatives part.
Yep.
Anything more for On the Hill?
No, thanks for writing in.
Email daily@lsatdemon.com if you'd like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.